Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a playbook for creativity, but, it's probably not the one you're expecting. We're going to explore how real breakthroughs happen when you start learning from the fringes, from the unconventional, the unexpected.
I mean, we are all just flooded with how-to guides, right? Endless expert opinions. But what if the most powerful lessons aren't in those pricey courses at all? What if they're just out there, in the wild? That's the big question we're tackling. And the answer? Well, it lies in a totally different way of thinking. And more importantly, a different way of doing.
So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll talk about learning when there's no rule book. Then, we'll dig into the mindset you need for real mastery. After that, we'll see why the best opportunities are hiding where nobody else is looking. And finally, we'll pull it all together into one powerful strategy.
Now, to guide us, we've got two thinkers with two completely different styles. On one hand, you've got Matsukawa, who we'll call the practitioner. He's all about messy, hands-on, learn-by-doing experimentation. And on the other hand, there's Tokuhisa, the strategist. He's looking for structured frameworks, learning by design. It's the combination of these two that gives us the whole playbook.
All right, first up, learning in the wild. This is all about how you get that practical wisdom from real-world, sometimes kind of weird experiences, especially when there's no clear path forward.
So, picture this. Matsukawa's deep in a YouTube rabbit hole one night. We've all been there. And he stumbles across this channel by a guy who calls himself an amateur landlord. This wasn't some slick, polished production. No, it was raw, it was real, and it was absolutely mesmerizing.
And this guy's business model? It was so simple, it was genius. He'd find a totally run-down property for practically nothing. Then, he'd renovate it all by himself using these clever, sometimes pretty unorthodox methods. And then, he just rolled the rental income into the next property. It was scrappy, it was honest, and man, it worked.
This quote from Matsukawa really gets to the heart of it. The YouTuber would say things like, yeah, a professional would probably yell at me for doing it this way, but hey, it works. Just seeing somebody break the rules and win, it was so liberating. It wasn't about finding the perfect theory, it was about finding the courage to just go for it.
And here's the real lesson for all of us. We spend so much time waiting for permission or for that perfect, bulletproof plan, but this story shows that real progress, it comes from pragmatic, messy action. Just getting your hands dirty is the most critical step.
Okay, but learning by doing, that's only one piece of the puzzle. Which brings us to our second part, the mastery mindset. This isn't just about the things you do, it's about the identity you decide to wear. And to really get this, we need this fantastic Japanese term, gachize. It basically means a hardcore enthusiast. Think of a competitive gamer who's all in, or a pro athlete. Matsukawa saw this happen with his own son. One day he's a casual cyclist, the next he's a gachize, knocking out 200-kilometer rides like it's a trip to the store. He didn't just pick up a hobby, he entered their world. And Tokuhisa shared this perfect example from his guitar lessons. The teacher never called them students. From the very first day, he called them guitarists. Think about that. By giving them the identity, he gave them a totally new standard to live up to. You see, you adopt the identity first, and that is what drives the action.
Now you take that identity shift, and you combine it with what Tokuhisa learned about called samurai mode. He read about a martial arts master who said that practice isn't just practice, it's a life-or-death struggle. That level of intensity, that kind of desperation, it forces a whole new level of focus. It just accelerates your learning like you wouldn't believe.
So we have action and we have identity. But where do we point all that energy? Well, that brings us to our next idea, finding your niche. The real sweet spot for innovation, it's not in the crowded mainstream. It's in the small, passionate communities that almost everyone else ignores.
Yeah, the mainstream hits we all know about. That's just a tiny sliver of what's out there. The real opportunity is in what they call the long tail. This huge, almost endless collection of niches. We're talking about everything from human beatboxing to developing specialized AI for small local factories. This is where the passionate, underserved audiences are hiding.
And don't you dare mistake niche for small time. Tokuhisa went to a kids' beatboxing competition. Get this, only 4 out of 27 kids even made it to the finals. The skill level was so ridiculously high that it blew away the host, who happened to be a world-class beatboxer himself. These niches are deep, they are passionate, and they are incredibly skilled. There is just massive value waiting to be created in these little corners of the world. One person built a huge following just making explainers about old punk rock bands, using nothing but Wikipedia. Another entrepreneur is building a whole company bringing AI to tiny family-run factories. The opportunity isn't serving the masses, it's serving the passionate few.
Okay, now it's time for the synthesis. This is where it all comes together. We've seen the practitioner's path of doing and the strategist's path of being. So how do we fuse them into one single unstoppable playbook?
Let's just break it down side by side. The practitioner, like our DIY landlord, learns by doing whatever it takes. Their goal is to solve the immediate problem, and their identity as an expert kind of grows out of the work they do. The strategist, though, they do it the other way around. They adopt the identity of a guitarist, or a gachize first, and then use that new identity to drive structured, deliberate practice. Their goal is bigger. It's to build a whole system.
And here it is. This is the ultimate insight. It's not about choosing one or the other. Real, lasting success comes from fusing these two together. It's the scrappy, get-it-done action of the practitioner combined with the focused, identity-driven discipline of the strategist. It is the synthesis of doing and being.
So there you have it. The playbook is on the table. It's a powerful way to think about learning and creating in pretty much any field. And that leaves just one last question. Not for us, but for you. What's the first move in your playbook?